So nobody knows this stuff better than me, and believe me, we're going to stop the outflow of our companies. We're really losing a lot. We have corporate inversions where companies are going out to get cash. You know, we have $2.5 trillion at least. I think it's double that number. That's a government number, and the government has no idea about numbers. We have $2.5 trillion at least outside of this country. The Democrats agree we should bring it immediately back. The Republicans agree that we should bring. Everybody agrees. It's not like a health care where they don't agree or something. Everybody agrees. Corporate inversion. Everybody agrees we should bring the money back. For years, they can't get an agreement. You know why? We don't have a leader. We don't have a president. I could make that deal in 10 minutes. I get the Republicans, I get the Democrats, without having to sign an executive order, by the way, okay? Which is not the way it's supposed to work. So what we need is leadership. So coming down, I said, I'm going to be so great on trade. I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. I will be. I will. But then, I'm very focused on our security. And I really started much more so with the borders. But then after the Paris attack, which was horrendous, and after the attack in Los Angeles and the attack, all of these attacks, but after the attack in California where the 14 people were killed by two radicalized people, they became radicalized. She radicalized him, whatever the hell happened, they ended up killing their co-workers, and plenty of people right now in the hospital that are going to be in bad shape for the rest of their lives because these two horrendous animals did that, okay? Animals. Now, what happened with Paris, the toughest gun laws in the world, Paris, the toughest. You don't have a gun in Paris, unless you're a bad guy, then you have a gun. You put a gun in your pocket, nobody's going to do it. You can't have a gun in Paris. You can't have a gun in France. The toughest laws, they say, in the world. So what happens is these thugs walk in, that they press called the mastermind, and I said, stop calling him the mastermind. He's a dirty run. I called him the guy with the dirty hat, right? The white hat. I said, stop calling, and you know, they really have. Because the big complaint is they're taking our youth over the internet. When you start calling people masterminds, our kids come up and they say, Dad, the mastermind. Oh, the mastermind. He's a brilliant guy, mastermind. He's a moron, this guy. I guarantee you this. And I said, don't do it. And you know, the press has stopped using the term mastermind now. But they said the mastermind, he's the leader. And they build him up like Robin Hood, right? Oh, that's great. What's with it? They send in people to the various places in Paris. There are no guns on the other side. And they go, bomb, bomb, you get over here, bomb, you get over here, bomb. 130 people killed. Many, many people right now in the hospital, gravely, gravely wounded. So badly wounded that their lives can never be the same. Other people will be dying from the wounds. It was a horrific scene. And since then, it's not that I've pivoted, you've pivoted me. And every poll that comes out, they like Trump best on the military. They like Trump best with ISIS. They like Trump best on border security. And I think the reason is because right from the beginning, nobody questioned the fact that I was the best on the borders. Nobody questioned. And basically, what is this? It's an extension of the borders. Now, as you know, Sheriff Joe Arpaio from Arizona endorsed me last week. We don't get tougher on the border than Sheriff Joe, right? And he endorsed me. And Sarah Palin endorsed me last week. And Jeff Sessions, the great senator, who was an incredible guy, he endorsed me. And there's nobody better on the borders than Jeff. I mean, everybody's endorsing, and it's been incredible. I will say, Jerry Falwell Jr. has had so much to do with my success with the evangelicals. And we're going to work hard, because I will tell you, the Second Amendment is being chipped away, and I tell you this, if there were guns in Paris or guns in California on the other side where bullets went in the other direction, you wouldn't have had those people killed. It would have been very minor by comparison. And we're going to save our Second Amendment. It's being chipped away at it. Chip, chip, chip. We're going to save it. And I'll tell you the other thing. Christianity is being chipped away at. Very rapidly chipped away at. And we're going to save it. And I've gotten such incredible support from the pastors and the ministers. And I had a meeting, and the meeting was amazing. I said, how many Christians do you think we have in this country? And it was sort of determined like 260 million. That's more than we have women, and it's more than we have men. So it's the biggest group. And yet, they're afraid to act. And I had it with them, because their tax-exempt status will be taken away. Because during Lyndon Johnson's regime, or whatever you want to call it, during his tenure, they passed legislation where the churches can't get political. And I think it's unfair. Why shouldn't they be allowed to? And I said to some of the really great pastors that have been so incredible and so supportive, Pastor Jeffers has been incredible, all of them. Pastor Paula White has been incredible, so many of them. I said to him, I said, you know, in a way you have less power than a person walking down the street, because you're afraid to do anything. And you can't really fight for Christianity and all it stands for because of some law that they take away your tax-exempt status. We're going to change that. We're going to get rid of that legislation that was passed by President Johnson. We're going to take care of it. And believe me, I will be doing it. And just a little thing, but it's to me very important. At Christmas time, we're going to walk into stores and we're going to be saying Merry Christmas again.